All right, today we're going to talk about business policies. Business policies are an alternative way of when you create your listings to apply for your shipping to hopefully streamline the process, especially if you ship items that are very, very similar and you don't want to keep putting in the weights and measures and every small minutia. You pick one policy, one way to ship everything. And we'll use baseball hats as an example because a lot of people sell baseball hats. Baseball hats tend to be anywhere from 8 to 12 ounces or so, or up to 340 grams. They all fit in, for the most part, and say a 9-inch by 9-inch by 6-inch box, or 23 by 23 by 13 centimeter box. You don't have too many different sizes of baseball hats, so you can really easily standardize everything. Alright, so first you need to go to your account settings. If you've never used policies before, this is what you need to do. So you go to account settings, you scroll down to your business policies down here under selling, and the business policy screen pops up. You need to opt into this. If you want to actually use them, you can opt in and opt out. Once you're opted in and you used a whole bunch, it can really mess things up when you opt out if you decide to do so. So let's be very careful. So you can have policies for payments, returns, and the shipping. We're only going to worry about the shipping. So let's walk right in and create a new policy. So we're going to create a new shipping policy. And this is going to be for ball caps. And let's say 0 to 340 grams. This is just a title so we know what we're doing. And we'll do a package size because we're on eBay Canada. This is going to be in grams. Just transfer to your inch sizes if you want. It doesn't really matter. So we'll go 23 by 23 by 13 centimeters, which, like I said, that roughly translates to 9 by 9 by 6 inch. And for now, we'll just copy this here. So this will be our standard policy for all baseball caps across the world, within Canada, to the USA, to whatever countries we choose. So it's a standard shipping. So we'll look at the shipping methods. So this will be standard shipping because it's a small to medium item. It's not going to be freight, and we're not going to do no shipping, local pickup only. So policies are specific to these items here. So if you're shipping, if you're selling fridges and you don't want standard or freight, you only want local pickup, then you can make one for just fridges for local pickup. It'll work out the same. So here, cost type, you can pick flat or you can pick calculated. So I use flat rate, but for simplicity's sake for now, let's use calculated. So we'll do the calculated. It costs depending on the buyer's location. And this way, the customer buys the label based on where they live compared to where you live, and based on the information given in the weights and dimensions part, which we'll get to in a second. So a primary service for within Canada, we can choose a standard service, and it's got the days here. Remember, your handling time is added to these days. So people love their baseball hats, so let's use expedited parcel. And if you're buying your labels from eBay, you do get a small discount from Canada Post prices. If you have a larger store, you may have better prices already from Canada Post, but that's up to you. But for this, we'll say that we need to buy our labels from Canada Post through eBay. All right, so we don't want to do any additional services, so we can, if we want, also allow the customers to pay for express services. So let's say express post. Whatever you pick here is what the customer can buy from you, and it'll be based on your weights and dimensions. So we don't want any more. We don't want to bother with handling costs. You might want to do it if it's something where it takes a long time for it to pack it, or it's additional costs like packing material because it's something like a V8 engine, that kind of thing. We'll leave it at 0. So if you want to ship international, or you don't want to ship international, you do nothing here. You don't click on this. That means you're only selling to Canadians within Canada, to and from Canada locations. But we want to expand a little bit. So here we'll click on that. We'll do the same thing. And now we get to choose as we go down, we get to choose how we want to ship it. So let's say for baseball hats, we want to ship to certain countries in Europe, because we know that it's easy to ship to, say, countries like the UK. So we'll add the service, and we'll pick Canada's Post Tracked Packet USA, because this one we're going to do just to USA. So we'll save that. That way, even though it shows worldwide, only Americans will see this. So we can add a service for everybody else. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do standard services, Expedited Express. So let's see, there's a Tracked Packet International. I believe this is the tracked. So now we're set up for USA, and we're set up for using Canada Post non-USA air. This will probably go ground, it might go air. And because we're selling international, maybe you want to say, okay, yeah, you know what, we're going to add an additional dollar cost, because maybe we have to deal with an HS code or something like that, or a little bit extra packing because it's going somewhere else in the world. The customer never sees this cost separately. They see what they're going to pay in the shipping plus the handling cost, all as one price. So if they're paying $15 for shipping, then there's a dollar handling cost, they'll see $16. And this will be all in Canadian funds on our side. They'll see their local funds their side. And down here we can add local pickup if we wish, because we are in Canada, and if we want to, we can add local pickup. Obviously for a baseball hat, you're probably not going to do that. And this can get very tricky, because then people in Missouri will say, oh, I wanted local pickup, but you know, well, I'm not in Missouri, sorry. So it creates a mess. So here you can change your handling time days. You can say same day if you're lucky enough to be next door to the shipper or whatever. And here you exclude locations. This is where you get to exclude, and this is only for outside the USA. So here you can choose to exclude entire continents. So right now here is anything clicked is excluded. So here I've chosen Asia and Europe, because Russia is listed under eBay in both. So if this arrow, when you click on it, it will show you all the countries in Asia. And here I've got the Russian Federation excluded. I can click all of them except for Taiwan, for example, if I wanted, or all of them except for Armenia if I wanted. It's probably a good idea at first, for calculator it doesn't matter. If you're doing flat rate shipping, you worry about this more. So a lot of this is, I simply don't want to ship to Russia for, whatever reason. Mostly because of what's going on there, and shipping is problematic at the moment. So in Europe, it's the same thing. All countries are excluded, and if I want to exclude Vatican City or Switzerland, I just click on it, and any country I click on here will be excluded. If you click just the Middle East, it will exclude all Middle East countries. See how they're all clicked? They're all chosen as excluded. So you could go down and say, hey, the only place I want to ship to actually is Kuwait, because I like how the name sounds. Then you can do Kuwait, and it will exclude all those countries except for Kuwait. We'll leave like that for now. And that's it. You created a shipping policy, then you just save it. And that's it. Now you can, from there, you can go to your drafts, and when you create a draft for that baseball hat, then you just click on the shipping policy and just click, the baseball hat, ball cap, shipping policy, and that's it, and everything, because everything's already entered for you. Now, you do need to enter the weight and dimension when you create the policy. So let's take a quick look at that. And all right, and so we're back. We're going to look at a draft, and we're going to change a draft to that shipping policy. I'm going to use this one here because I don't have a ball cap one ready. You got your draft, you have all your pictures, you have all the draft information in here, so everything's ready to go. Now you just got to figure out, you've done the pricing, now you got to just work on the shipping. So now we go to the shipping policies, we go down to choose the shipping policies, we'll scroll down to test cap, and we enter in that information. I had already pre-entered this one, so they kind of ignore that. It did not automatically enter. So let's say we've decided it's actually 500 grams and 24 by 24 by 13 centimeters. And then you just enter that, and that's pretty much it. After that, everything's done automatically. You don't have to sit there and pick a shipping service because you've already picked it within your shipping policy. It's done once. This is great, like I said, for things like ball caps, for things like DVDs and CDs and video games, where everything will fit in the same standard package. You package it the same way. Video games just slide in an envelope, 5 by 7 inch or whatever it is. Baseball caps will all fit in whatever size box. Now, I do understand that some ball caps will fit in a much smaller box, but if you standardize your final numbers, you'll rarely find yourself in a situation where you messed up. So if you can fit that cap in an 8 by 7 by 6 inch box, put it in that box. But remember, your rates are based on what you put here. That gives you a little bit of wiggle room in case something went wrong, that you messed up on the weight or whatever. So always give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. And that's it. I hope that helps. Leave any questions in the comments below, and have an awesome day. Thank you very much for listening.